welcome back to my channel. Teacher Kelly here, and today I want to talk to you today about mock classes, or maybe it's your interview, which is also a mock class. Stay tuned for my tips and tricks. The number one tip I have for you is to watch your pacing, your time. Now it depends on which road you went down to get to the interview, or if this is a mock class, then you already know to watch your time. If you're in the full interview and you have 10 slides, you want to spend 1 minute on each slide. When I was interviewing, I was confused. I just thought I would teach and they would stop and tell me, that's enough, and then talk to me. I didn't know that there were 25 slides in a class. So I thought there were only 10 slides for the whole 25 minutes. So I was spending a lot of time and only making it like 2 or 3 slides. And they kept telling me I had a pacing problem. But I could not understand what they meant because I thought I was going slow enough. What they meant was you need to have all of 10 of those slides done in 10 minutes. If you're looking at one slide, then you do one slide for 1 minute. And that's it. My second tip is make sure you are using TPR. Now, if you're in a mock class, this is not your your interview, then you know exactly what I mean by TPR. You need to make sure that your hand gestures match whatever it is you're saying. So if you're saying they drink water, or they swim in the water, or swim, whatever you choose to do for your TPR, make sure it is clear and try to get the student to do it. Now, if they're being a cooperative student, they're going to do just fine. If you're recording, you can just pretend they did it because you're just having a pretend student. If you have a live person in front of you for your mock and they don't do it, try one more time. Be like, swim, and then wait and see if they do it. Now, if this is an interview, that wait time is going to feel so long. But trust me, give it the wait time. Wait time is super important in these classes, so give them a chance. Now, if they don't do it, if your pretend person or your live student doesn't do it for your mock class or for your interview, your live interview, then, move on. But at least you tried to do it. All right, so I'm going to combine a couple of my tips here. Make sure on your props that you're using 3 different props, not 3 of the same props. 1, 2, 3. Yes, they are 3 different animals here, but they are stuffed. They're the same. So make sure you have like 1, this would be 2, and then if you had like a 2D prop, then that would be a 3rd prop. It doesn't say necessarily that you have to have 3, but I have seen some things back and forth on Facebook and in groups. So you might want to have 3 different props. Definitely have at least 2. Now, if you're just doing the 1 slide, you can only do so much with 1 slide. But if you're going through all 10 of them, then try to have at least 3 different ones. Then make sure you're giving wait time. So maybe it's soccer. And then give them time to say soccer. Soccer. Now, if soccer is a vocabulary word, make sure you are saying it 3 times. 2 or 3 times. If they're really looking for 3 times. I know in the classroom, you're going to individualize. If you're for sure, if the kid said soccer before you did, they've got soccer down. So I'm going to say soccer in as many different ways later, or with something else in the slide. But if they're like, soccer, get them to say it 3 times. Soccer. Okay, I'm using my prop. I'm giving wait time. Smiling. Make sure you're not like, because this is like a dead face. You don't want a dead face. You want to make sure that you are have that not bored looking, or it'll look like you're not like you're impatient. So make sure that you watch your facial expressions as well. Wait time, wait time, wait time is super important. If you ask them a question, what is this? Yes! That feels like an eternity. I know. But they need that process time. Remember, they're hearing it in English. They recognize it in their language, and they're having to change it back into English. You have to give them that wait time. It works. Even if they're not sure what it is, they're eventually going to say something that you can either correct or be like, yes. Questions. That's a great way to extend or expand the lesson. Ask questions. Even if this is an interview, try to ask at least one question that is not on the slide so they can see that you can expand on that slide. Even if you have one slide in front of you, try to think of something. Maybe the whole thing was just soccer. This is a soccer ball. Soccer ball. Or maybe it's just ball. This is a ball. What color is the ball? If they don't say anything or they don't know the color because maybe they haven't made it to the colors yet, so they have no clue, you could teach them. This is white. Good. And then you can, in the feedback, you expanded on the lesson. You extended it for the child. You taught them something that they don't know. Or they knew ball without a problem. Now I'm going to teach them colors. Or this is a soccer ball. And maybe show them a basketball and show them the difference between them. Real quick, real easy, and then move on. All right, another tip for you, whether you are doing a mock class or an interview, is to make sure your lighting is very good. Yes, I have some shadows behind me, but my face, my hands are relatively bright or clear. You can see them clearly. Now, sometimes I lean in to show my mouth a little more if we're working on saying a word correctly, but there are not shadows on my face. You should have more on your background than I do right now to make it more inviting. I have this today, but your name back there, VIPKid, Dino, some alphabet, some numbers, just anything to make it look inviting and educational. Maybe that's your problem. Maybe they're saying your background is not good, but they don't explain why. Maybe it's too busy. I know that these dots may be too busy for the classroom or for the interview. Or maybe I had a parent complain and that's the problem. They like the background. Maybe it's just too busy. You want to make sure that you are clear when you're teaching and what you're using is clear to the student, and that the background is not too distracting, and that it looks like that you are in an environment that is for your classroom. There is much debate on the secondary reward. I will tell you that the official stance VIPKid has put out is a secondary reward is not required. However, they do say that it is best practices. Now, I have always used a secondary reward because when I started, it was required. I am going to tell you, though, that I have seen many other teachers say that they have gotten low Apple ratings because they did not use a secondary reward. When they had it reviewed, like they only got 1 or 2 apples, and when they had that reviewed, the company stood with the parent because, I don't know, it's not required, but it's best practices. So I would always at least throw that a reward in there at least once. If it's a slow student, not slow, but like they're reading slow or they're struggling to get through the material, try to throw it in there at least once, because as long as you've used it at least once, because there's not a requirement on how often you use that secondary reward. So if you've gotten a low Apple rating for that, or you're concerned, definitely if you're doing your interview, have that second reward. Even though it's not required, have it in there. Thank you for watching today. Like, subscribe, hit the notification, and share, 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 share. Sharing is caring. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.